Yao đao ngã mù như há liêu sanh toạc tư ly cô đà lạc tước chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đan Tô, Chú Chế Đô Ye La Hư Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xế. Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Tô Già Đà Già La Hà Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Tòa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Nú sang seng seng wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zao yu wo jin jian wen de shou qi Yuan Jie Ru Lai Zhe Shi Yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Huineng, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good new advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、慧能大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位上智士，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, Kính thưa Lục Tổ, Hòa Thượng Tiến Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức ca nhớ đạo Phật. Hello everyone, today is Christmas Eve in the United States and Christmas Day in Asia. So Merry Christmas everyone. Thank you for coming and it's nice to see you. We are here to continue discussing the 6th Patriarch Sutra. We are on slide 34 of chapter 3. Chapter 3 is about the questions that the magistrate Wei had the chance to ask the master on behalf of the assembly. So it's kind of short, but it's at the beginning of the formulation, how Master Huineng formulated the sudden teaching. Yes, I understand there is some sort of entertainment program for you tonight. Besides, it's Christmas Eve here anyway. Yes? All right, go ahead. Take it away to Christmas land. And by the way, I understand also like 11 tonight, we plan to have like choir, live choir at the church. Go. This must be a trick. Whoa. Thank you. You're so special. What can I say? You caught me at my worst moments. And I must be, just like a normal person, very unhappy. Okay, back to serious business. Thank you, Lord. Okay, we are, the 6th Patriarch is telling Magistrate Wei about thought after thought without interruption is merit, and the mind practicing equanimity and straightforwardness is virtue. We talked about it. We started talking about it last night, last week. And anyone has any questions about that? All right. Then next he says, self-cultivation of one's nature is merit, and self-cultivation of the body is virtue. Okay, now this is a direct translation of the Chinese, but that's not what it means. It is a fake, like everything else here, everything is fake, right? It cannot be a real candle. He made it. No wonder. Definitely. Yeah, definitely fake. What did you use for wicker? Shoelaces?
No. Well, it kind of looks like shoelaces that you carve too.
See. Okay, well, good luck. I have work to do. I'm sorry. I wish I could help you. It says that 自修性 that's a Chinese. Let me correct it for you. The self-cultivation, one's nature, its merit, is nonsense. What does self-cultivation mean to you? What does the word mean to you in English? Never mind by Chinese yet. What does it mean to you in English? Self-cultivation. Versus you Chinese-speaking people, 自修 is the actual Chinese words. Is that the same meaning to you? Of course, it's not the same. Okay, 自修 here in Chinese means that you yourself must cultivate. No one else can do it for you. That's all it means. It does not mean self-cultivation. Remember, Buddhism is about to eliminate the self, so why would you need to cultivate yourself? You see, this is the English translation has this potential misinterpretation of the English-speaking readers. It says self-cultivation, meaning cultivation on your ego. But actually, Chinese only means that you must cultivate. No one else can do it for you. No bodhisattvas, even Buddhas, can't cultivate for you. It's that simple. Agree or disagree? Okay, so the translation should be, and this is why I couldn't finish it the last time, should simply be cultivation of one's nature is merit, and cultivation of the body is virtue. It's that simple. They're overdoing it. Okay? The patriarch's meaning is so precise, but unfortunately, if you're not careful, the translation can distort the teaching. And that's a serious mistake, serious karma, serious offense.
Why is there a Merry Christmas there?
Oh, good point. I don't know. They decided not to include maybe jewel conch. Yeah, finally. Hello, jewel conch. Nice of you to join us. 안녕하세요. How do you say Merry Christmas in Korean? Say something in Korean. Hey, shorty.
Merry Christmas.
Very good. Thank you. So it says cultivation of one's nature is merit. So what does it mean, cultivation of one's nature? The teaching is very straightforward, very simple. It means that I don't want you to engage in because I don't expect you to be able to answer it, okay? But cultivation of one's nature refers to the fact that you are able, at the lower level, if you're not enlightened yet, you can cultivate as per the instructions, as per the guidance of your good knowing advisor, and that is actually cultivation of your self-nature. Because your good no advisor, this is not spoken clearly enough in the Chinese teaching, that when your teacher, your Dharma master, your good no advisor gives you instructions, okay, they are supposed to give you instructions on how to cultivate your self-nature, your Buddha nature. Make it come to the fore. Because you're confused, because your Buddha nature is being fronted by your ego. I mean waffles, if you like. Okay? And that's the difference. The difference between enlightened people, confused people, is that confused people allow their egos to front them. And that's why, because that's a tendency of the ego. Look at yourself. Don't when you talk about ego, don't look anywhere else. Let me describe your ego for you. This is what you do all day. Okay? As soon as something happens, what do? He says, I like, I don't like. It's just two of us. See, at least. I like or I don't like. Yes? That's your ego right there. And that's a sign that you're acting out of confusion. Your ego is motivated by greed, by anger, by stupidity. So I like is greed. Yes? And so forth. So you see, it manifests itself. It's three poisons. It's poisonous nature. Yeah. By reacting to the external stimuli in that way. That's your ego in action. Don't look anywhere else. Don't look at your neighbor. Don't look at your spouses. They have nothing to do with it. It's you who choose to behave that way. Is it clear? Well, this is how it works. It's unfortunately the Chinese don't explain it to you, and that's why the Chinese disciples, Buddhist disciples, are confused. If you realize that it is your ego who's intercepting everything you do, every single day, every single moment, then you should realize you're acting out of confusion. That's all. It's up to you. You don't have to agree with it. But this is a statement of facts. This is what is called Buddhist science. And you're chuckling because you say, oh God, Buddhism has a science? What is science? Science is that the accumulated wisdom of mankind. If you believe in it, you get a chance to prove it's right. Excuse me. And verify it's the facts. Okay? So empirically speaking, it's been proven time and time again in the history of mankind. Excuse me. So what's Buddhist science? Buddhist science is the same concept. Has been proven to be a fact by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas since beginningless time. Your human science has only been accumulating empirical evidence since civilization. But Buddhist science has been doing it way before you.
No. They're not going to turn on the lights in the room.
Okay? So, if you believe this, then you realize that this is a very quick way to determine that you're acting in confusion. Are you motivated by, what happened? I don't see. By greed. Then you're confused. You may be able to just recite the Buddha's name, recite a mantra, recite a sutra, but as soon as you strike up a thought of greed, you're back to confusion. That's where we all are. Is it clear? So what does it mean, cultivation of one's nature? Cultivation of one's nature is the instructions that you are given in Buddhism, because we have the science. We understand how it works, the relationship between the ego and the self-nature. Okay? We understand it. We have a science behind it on how to get this guy, this what I call the small self, out of the way, so that the big self is in control. And that is cultivation of the nature or the big self. Does it help? And the reason I bring it up is because in Buddhism we have countless beings who've done it already. And they succeeded by following the instructions on how to cultivate their big ego or their Buddha nature. I hope to be able to eventually demystify Chinese Buddhism because it's too abstract. Asian Buddhism is too abstract for me. For modern day people, we need more clues because we are a scientific age and we can't simply depend on blind faith. Not all of us have such faith. Okay, and so I did mention the concept of Buddhist science, right? In the real world, the scientists are called scientists because there are some, in general, well-established, well-recognized institutions who certify them. Yes? Same thing in Buddhism. In Buddhism, the Buddhist scientists who teach you how to cultivate your nature have been certified as well. This is a very important parallel you need to draw. And unfortunately, in our Dharma ending era, most teachers are not certified. And that's why I feel they're teaching prematurely. Even a lot of the teachers have been certified already, but it's just like they're still not good teachers yet. All right? Any questions or comments? I assure you, if someone is coughing there, okay, it's not from me. I always neutralize it, okay, so that it's not because of me that you get in trouble. It's fairly easy to do. All right, so rest assured that you can come to our temple and not be afraid, and if you have to catch it, then because of your coming to the temples, I feel personally bad about it. So if you're worried, then give us a call and I will fix it for you. Okay? No questions asked. Where else have you been? With other temples? Oh, with other churches, like tonight, huh? Is it clear? Does it help? And this is, I don't know why the Buddhist monks and nuns and patriarchs are shy about this. They don't mention the fact that yes, just like you scientists, we also have Buddhist scientists. And just like you, we have good scientists and great scientists, right? So why don't you learn from the great scientists? And that we should be telling you as well. You should learn from the great Buddhist scientists. That's our job, to point them out to you. And those are the patriarchs. Some patriarchs in my mind. Okay? All right. Does it help? So this is what he meant by cultivation of one's nature. And cultivation of the body. So why is it merit then? Why is cultivating of your big ego, the big self, is merit? Because it's very hard. Okay, it's not that easy, it's not that simple. The instructions are not easy for you. The instructions are demanding. And the instructions make you struggle. It's not that easy for you. And that's why it's meritorious. You're engaging in something that is difficult for you to do, especially since you don't have a whole lot of time. Is that clear? That's merit. Cultivation of the body here refers to the Dharma body. That is virtue. Okay, whatever it means, whatever this Dharma body means to you. Okay, eventually you understand what the Dharma body is. The Dharma body basically is the body of the Buddha. What is the body of a Buddha? Let me elaborate it for you, because most of you don't know. What kind of body does the Buddha have? This particular body, called this Dharma body, is the totality of the universe. That includes all of existence. Whatever you have in this universe, whatever you can see, whatever you can perceive, both sentient and insentient being. Insentient being meaning the beings that have feeling. You take a needle and you prick and it's on the hand, it hurts. That's sentient. It has feelings. Okay. Insentient is things that have no feelings, like statues, wood, materials. Those things are insentient. All of that is part of the Buddha body. We are part of the Buddha body. Is that clear? So, to cultivate that particular body is virtuous. Okay? Now, I don't have a way to simplify this for you because it's too vast. Okay? When you get there, it's specific instructions on how to cultivate this particular body. And this is all suffices to say right now, at this stage, is to tell you this is what bodhisattvas do. They cultivate the Buddha's body, the Dharma body, so that they can become Buddhas. Does it make sense to you? Once you become enlightened, you still need to cultivate the Buddha's body in order to become enlightened. To become the Buddha. Now, let me backtrack then. I was telling you that to cultivate one's nature, or to cultivate the big self, okay? So I started by telling you that for you, ordinary people, you have a small self that likes to intercept everything. The front man, if you will. Okay? So you learn, you provided instructions on how to get it out of the way. Figure out how to take it out of the picture so that you can see clearly. And that's what, again, the instructions are designed to do. Okay? But once you become enlightened, okay, and again, this is again, for me, it really kills me. It used to kill me because when you read the scriptures, you read the instructions from various teachers, various patriarchs, they're confusing. They're not clear at all. Okay, and so, but once you enlighten, what happens? Once you become enlightened, that means that the difference between the enlightened people and us, confused people, is that we are totally out of control. Okay? The small self is like a baby throwing tantrums. There's nothing you can do. Okay? So, the cultivation of that self there teaches us how to, the technique on how to remove it, take it out of the equation, of the picture. Okay? But once you are able to figure out how to do that, that's a skill. Remember, this is simply a skill. You learned how to do this. And that's what confused people are being trained to do. So how do you do that? We start first by helping you, telling you, asking you to do things that are difficult for you in a way, yang lineage. For example, sit in full lotus, and it hurts, and it hurts, and it hurts, and more, and more, and more. Okay, and the small self says, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. So I'm going to quit. If you quit, then your small self is in control. It has a few days and wow, this is so great. And today I'm so happy. I only have to endure for half an hour the leg pains, and then I'm back in charge again. Because when he decides to endure the leg pains, actually his good no advice is in charge. He's not. Okay? And so that's why the instructions are designed to help you learn how to not listen to the small self, not to get its ways at will. Is that clear? So there's science behind it, trust me. It looks like casual, it looks like haphazard, it looks like madness, but actually there's a science behind it. There's specific steps that need to be taken in order for that to happen. And that's why the recipe of success has been used over and over again by the good knower advisors. They only them know. The real good ones know. The one like Master YongHua. They know because look at his production, his productivity. Okay? We Buddhists also are very factual and say, okay, so you have wisdom if you are a good teacher. How many great students have you trained, have you produced? You talk too much. You call yourself great teacher, great patriarch, supreme patriarch. How many eminent, how many incredibly useful disciples? The standard is how useful they are to the world, not to you. Not to you, the teacher. It's about the world. Okay? They're doing this to benefit everyone else. So that's how we tally them. So that's why I look at Master YongHua and say, wow, my second generation used to have a lot of eminent disciples. It no longer is the case. Okay? But so it's no fault. Well, no direct fault of his own, but he is still partially responsible in my mind. But regardless, he produced the disciples. In contrast, the third generation right now, in their side of the tracks, have 0. Okay, so to us Buddhists, you don't care and you don't understand. But for us professionals, said, that can't. It's not acceptable. It can't be. So that tells you that we have our standards. Okay, because after you remove it, okay, that's my generation. Okay. They remove the small ego, okay? Now they have to still continue to cultivate their own big ego, okay? That's what he's referring to. Well, apparently, my teacher didn't train them well enough to continue to cultivate the big ego. And it shows. In the third generation. Okay? There's no denying that. It's not possible to deny that. Okay? It's never about Master YongHua to me. It's about what did he do? What did he produce? What has he accomplished? What are the facts? Now, third generation, what are the facts? What are the accomplishments? What are the results of the cultivation of the third generation's nature? Wei Mao.
Oh, thank you, Master. I just wanted to clarify the word, when you say big ego, I understand that to be the larger self, but is that not an appropriate word to use with the larger self, ego?
It may not be appropriate to you, but we make it, we simplify for you, if you will, what is the big? What does big refer to? Big refers to totality. It's nothing bigger than that. You see? It has connotations. So the small ego is about me. The big ego is that all of it, all of us. So what are your priorities? Your priorities are only to serve your small ego, so be it. Be careful of your goals. Your goals is to spend your entire life serving your small ego, then you're going to produce small results. Don't blame your parents. Marriage is so wrong. They say, it started with my parents. No, you're an adult now. Stop blaming your parents. Take responsibility. Okay, good point. Yes, anyone else? You see? So my point here is I pointed it out not to embarrass people, to criticize people, is to illustrate the point. Once, if you're confused, you need to remove the small ego take it out of the way. Learn the skills to do it consistently. It's a skill. Very much like slicing that blowfish, preparing that. You do it wrong, you're gonna die, dude. Okay? Someone will die. Someone will suffer. A lot of people will suffer. Okay? Yeah. But once you develop the skills on how to remove the small self so that the big self is in control, then it's a different skill set to cultivate that big self. It's still cultivation. It's still meritorious. Is that clear? So this instruction is at two levels. Confused people need to develop the skills to sweep the small ego out of the way when necessary, and the enlightened people need to learn how to refine that process. So the work is not done yet. When I learned about Buddhism, read the Hinayana teachings, and especially Hinayana teachings, excuse me, what got me really off on the wrong foot was the concept of 所作以办, okay, in the Chinese text. When they describe the great disciples of the Buddha, the great Moggallana, the great Shariputra, the great Ashnata Kondinya, the great Bhikshunis, Khema, and Prajapattis, and all those people, okay, these eminent monks and nuns, disciples of the Buddha, and they are described as 所作以办, meaning what they had to do has been done. And I said, wow, this is so cool. All I have to do is get there and I'm done. Huh? Retirement. And this is a Vietnamese obsession, you know. Retirement is what we want. Retirement gloriously. Okay, but it's not the case. So I grew up because of those Buddhist texts, you know? And my Dharma masters, who did not tell me otherwise, that had this misconception that, hey, you become enlightened and you're done. No, you're not. After you become enlightened, that's when the work becomes interesting. So to say that 所作以办, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. I hope someday I will get it. Because if the Buddha said so, maybe it has meaning. But to me, I would not use that word. It probably only refers to the fact it says all these eminent disciples of his, those great arhats, simply have finished their small self.
Suffocated. Oh, is it in the video? Okay, new one for you.
Okay? Strangle the small egos to death. That's the mission. The mission of the Sanghas is to strangle their small egos. If they can strangle the ego, then their work is done as a Sangha. Maybe that's what it means. But to me, it's misleading because it's a small thing to strangle an ego, although the Chinese taught their disciples that is a rather difficult thing to do today, and especially Dharma ending age. But so many of our disciples, American Mahayana disciples, have done it, so it should not be a big deal anymore. These all speak for themselves. Questions or comments? Okay, so that's the distinction between merit and virtue. Yes, Orange.
Master, after you strangle your small ego, you still need to cultivate the big ego, right?
That's right. And the cultivation gets harder. And it gets much more interesting. I'm noticing how my disciples, they're evolving so beautifully now. You know, it's just a pleasure to watch them. Okay, no more questions? Yes, 6.
How to do that? Is that something we can worry about at this stage?
How do you do that? Follow the instructions. That's all. Until you understand, until you get to the big ego, there's still the small ego that still jumps in. And that's why the instructions given to you tend not to make sense to you at all. They're not supposed to make sense to you. Because you agree, then it's your small ego that agrees, unfortunately. Okay? So it has to be a combination of both. The small ego has to agree enough, but it cannot be in control. It has to agree enough so that it won't get in the way. But it cannot know what to expect. Because as soon as your ego knows what to expect, it will derail you. Because even though you take the small ego out of the picture, it's still here, waiting to jump back in front. You see, the struggle between good and evil. Big ego, big self is good, if you will. And the small ego is evil, if you will. Okay? And that's the struggle between good and evil that's being mentioned. This guy's evil. You don't know what it's capable of. I know you don't want to hear this. It's perfectly capable of the big evil. Okay? It may not be evil yet, was perfectly capable of. JMT.
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
작은 말을 목조르는 구체적인 예를 하나 들어주십시오.
Could you make an example how to strangle small ego?
Oh, you are so violent. Can you blow that photo, comparative photo last night that Xienan sent about the lady at Sungwangsa? Can you do it very quickly? Thank you. How do you strangle the small ego? Okay, are you right-handed or left-handed? Okay. Right-handed. Okay. It's very easy. It's very easy. There's so many things you can use. If you want to strangle, there are plenty of strangling tools. Says go to the Buddhist implements. The Buddhist store here, they should have plenty of ego strangling weapons, along with the Buddha statues. Okay? The best tools, again, as I just said, the best way to strangle the ego is to do it without it knowing. It's being strangled. It's very delicate. It's a lot more delicate than you realize. Because as soon as it realizes in danger, it will weasel its way out. He will say, "Oh, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. Oh, this is too soon. This is too soon. My ankle's hurting. My ankle's swelling. Oh, it's swollen. Oh my God. It never happened to me before. Why I have to do this to myself?" You see? Look, we're told that when Xienan Sunim came to this temple, big temple in Korea, this lady here, she met in August, and she's been at the temple, at that famous temple for several years. Well-respected temple, very good temple. Okay, Sungwangsa, one of my favorite temples. And she's a volunteer there, and she basically lived there for several years. And she started sitting in full lotus, because Xienan, that's what Xienan does. And she said, "Oh, you should be in full lotus." Okay, and that's the beginning of strangling the ego. Okay, and so in August 2022, she started, and all these people, they helped the temples out, so they have a lot of blessings. When we teach the Koreans to sit in full lotus, they get into full lotus just like that. Okay, it's the culture. It's very impressive. You guys think it's no big deal. It's a very big deal for us. Okay, without blessings, you cannot get into full lotus or stay in full lotus. See, she got in full lotus pretty deep as well, legs pretty high up, okay? And she never could come to the temple, to our temples. She would study, would listen to our Dharma talks, and maybe attend the online classes with Xienan Sunim, or various classes, I'm not sure. But that's all she could do, okay? Fast forward to this December, recently took a photo there and look at the difference. And that's a manifestation of her small ego being gently squeezed into submission. Okay, that's enough. Thank you. And Sinan has so many such stories, these things that are the results of the documentation of people at various stages in their journey to render the small self harmless. Okay, so how do you kill, how do you strangle the small ego? In your particular case, you've been generating a lot of blessings, okay? But your karmic obstructions are still pretty heavy. Okay, and therefore, for you to expect to be able to strangle the small ego this lifetime, it's difficult. In your particular case, you probably won't be able to strangle your big ego right now, this lifetime. If I were you, I would plan to strangle it next lifetime. Does it make sense? We have to be practical. We have some commitments. Okay? And you're committed to live your life already, and this is where you are today. And this is, you have a lot of things that you need to take care of, and things that are important to you. You have made commitments, and therefore, you don't have the same kind of freedom that we monks and nuns have, for example. We don't have the same kind of conditions that they have. For example, what conditions? I can abuse them. I cannot abuse you. You see? And so, the reason the monks and nuns go it faster than you is because I have more control over the cultivation of their natures, whereas I don't have any control over your cultivation of your nature. That's a difference, a huge difference for us. Okay? So in your case, you want to strangle the self-ego, the small ego. Let me be, this is all I can see, and you should get a second opinion, okay? Don't take my word for it. I feel that it's not that you can't. You do have the blessings to be able to do that, but you don't have enough, but your obstructions are too heavy. Your commitments are too heavy. Okay? And therefore, I would go to the Pure Land, and next lifetime you will strangle it. And Amitabha will be a much better instructor than I am. He can help you. Okay? And if you go there, ask to be assigned to our Mahayana quarters, American Mahayana, and we see each other again. Okay? Does it help? So this lifetime, you don't have to be too violent. Violence is not for you. Okay, very good. Any other questions? Yes, Climber.
Thank you, Master. It's more an observation. This afternoon, after this heavy lunch, a group of us.
Heavy lunch? Really?
Holiday lunch.
I don't remember.
That's called food coma. So a group of us here sitting, and then one of the
You sat after lunch? No. I heard it's more like you had a party after lunch.
Yeah, it's a sitting party.
I see.
Yeah. And so the sitting party, one of the
No,
cultivators.
no, it's okay. It's okay. Leave it. Yeah. No, it doesn't bother me.
And
I'm only checking something. I'm doing something. I'm checking. Yes.
so the
Multitasking, you
yeah.
will. I'm scattered. I'm very scattered. So don't mind me. Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah, the
Yes.
one of the cultivators, he claimed, he said, yeah, I could sit up to 2 hours, but I just don't want to sit there long every day. Because basically, in my stupid mind, what he's doing is he's nurturing his small ego. Actually, the cultivators here, maybe he should say something why he said that. And I finished, and so he should continue. And that's
Master, that was me, the cultivator.
Okay, the cultivator.
The cultivator. What I was said was, so I was able to sit for 2 hours straightly 2 years ago, but all I experienced was suffering, the pain, and I didn't get any bliss or happiness out of the sitting. So after that, I decided to change another way, like 1 hour per day, so that I can enjoy the sitting, not too much pain, and then keep my don't make me stop because of the pain. That's what I want to say. Like I don't want to harsh myself too much to reach a dead end. Instead, I want to slowly take it slow so that I can stick longer. Is that probably not a good way from your perspective?
No, it's been a good way for you. I have no problems. You know, whatever works for you is good for you. Okay, we're only here to help you get what you want. You want to be comfortable and want to be able not to do practice in moderation. That's perfectly okay.
But maybe it will not make me enlightened in this lifetime. Because it's not.
Most likely not. It's like 100% not. Okay, but that's not what you're looking for. You're not looking for enlightenment.
I want to be enlightened.
Then why? And if you want to be enlightened, then did someone tell you that you can be enlightened by being comfortable? Who told you you can be enlightened and you can be comfortable?
I'm not looking for comfortable. I mean, to me, really sitting in full lotus is it's just one way or a mean approach, not the real purpose or the end goal of the cultivation.
Okay, that's your assessment. And what are your qualifications for such assessments? Have you been certified by the Buddhist scientists?
No, of course not.
Okay, of course not. So you choose to do it your way, not the Buddhist scientific way. Yes? That's what it boils down to. Okay? So you do it, is it fair to say the non-Buddhist scientific way? Just to throw a word at it, throw a name at it, label it, non-Buddhist scientific way, okay? Then historically, you are probably will not make it because no such a thing. For example, just for you to get to the first stage Arhat range requires some Buddhist knowledge that no one else has. We have such knowledge and we have such training techniques as well. And then thirdly, excuse me, we have a track record of producing such results. We're talking about more people than you can ever imagine. Okay, so the question is not whether it's going to work for you or not. The big problem with you is that you don't believe it. You basically saying, okay, you Buddhists have your Buddhist scientific way. I respect that, but I have mine. And basically, you should try it your way. There's nothing wrong with it. And this is why it's not the first time for us. All we can do is say, if you wish to become enlightened, okay, and you pretty smart, you're sure you can figure it out. This is how you wired, and that's what you've proven to yourself so far. Okay, and that's why you have such a determination, such a self-assurance. All we can do is that give it a try, and all we can do is that I will tell you right now, you won't make it. At the end of your life, you will not make it. The end of the next life, you will not make it. And every time, eventually, you'll remember it. And then you'll begin to believe. That's all. It's not the first time that these people have listened to such instructions. All these people here, most of them have listened to such instructions before. And the reason they're not enlightened yet is because they didn't believe it either. They don't. They say, I like you, you're fun, and and so forth. But I'm going to do it my way. And they say, okay. And that's why it's still the same. They say, okay, I will cross my legs for a little bit. But at least I'm here. You here? And that's how it is with us. It's a funny deal because it takes a lot of repetitions before you believe. That's why we're very patient. There's no need to force the issue. And this is what you find out. It's right now you don't believe. At the end of your life, then you remember my words. You say, oh, he did say I would not make it. And next, but you say, so what? I didn't make it, so what? I do better next time. So next time again, and you find another of us here, and another monk will come to you and say, I was just as stupid as I am, open a big mouth and say, you will not make it. And you say, so what? Okay? And on, and eventually, your good roots will mature, your blessings will mature, and that's when you're able to develop the faith and follow the instructions. It's an iterative process. It's not that fast. The reason these people can catch on so quickly is because they went through it already. Most of them have been my disciples in a prior life. Not very good ones, but so many times. Okay, show me a photo of the baby relics. Yeah, our baby relics. The container. We have 3 such containers. Baby relics from a tooth. Okay, so that's what it boils down to, is that you have more faith in yourself than in my instructions, in our instructions. So be it. We are all entitled to pursue our beliefs. Okay? And everyone has a chance to test out their theories, that's all. Okay? A couple of questions while they're looking for those photos. Yes, JMT.
네, 감사합니다, 마스터님. 금강 사옥스님께서 이제 번역해주신 금강경에 마스터님께서 이제 무조와 그 조복, 섭듀에 대한 조복에 관한 걸 말씀하시면서 우리가 이제 그 어떤 작은 나 에고를 이제 조복을 시켜야 된다 하고 말씀을 주셨고, 근데 이것으로는 부족하고 8식 아래아식에서 완전히 그 종자가 되는 거를 제거를 해야 된다라고 그 강서를 해주셨습니다. 사옥스님께서 번역을 해주셨고, 그럼 이제 그 아래아식 종자에서 완전히 그 씨앗을 제거하기 위해서 이런 썩디유하는 그 이제 무주, 그 다음에 이제 조복시키는 일련의 과정들을 계속 반복적으로 거쳐야 되는 부분인 건지, 불교 과학에 의하면 그걸 좀 여쭙고 싶습니다.
In the Dharma, in the Vajra Sutra lecture, you mentioned that we have to subdue a small ego, and then we also we have to get rid of the seed in our 8 consciousness. So to get rid of the seed in 8 consciousness, do we have to repeatedly to subdue our small ego?
There are 2 different teachings. You cannot combine the 2. In order to suffocate or strangle the small ego, there are certain things in each of you needs to do differently. Okay? Among which is the common thing is that you have to resolve your karmic obstructions, your seeds, the bad seeds that are in the way of your achieving the destruction of your ego. So it's just 2 different concepts. Okay, it's more detailed. Okay, so don't worry about it. Your question doesn't make sense. Next, JC.
작은 나를 목조르게 되면 남을 원망하거나 비난하고 싶은 현상은 없어지나요? 더 이상 나쁜 씨앗을 심지 않게 되나요? 2번째 질문 이어서 할까요?
이제부터 할게요. If I strangle my small ego,
Oh, you guys are so violent. Why do you use my words? It doesn't sound good. You Koreans are so brutal, violent.
then
Continue.
질문입니다. 작은 나를 목조르게 되면 남을 원망하거나 비난하고 싶은 현상은 없어지나요? 더 이상 나쁜 씨앗을 심지 않게 되나요?
So if I strangle my ego, then I don't blame others anymore, and then I don't plant bad seed anymore.
Who's asking questions?
네, JMT의 유아 씨입니다.
YongHua from JMT.
Do I know her? Huh? Huh? Oh, the lady in green. Okay. That one. Okay. Yeah. Again, you see, it's different. Each and every one of you is a different approach. It's no such a thing as this is what you need to do to strangle your ego. It doesn't work like that. Each one of you is different. And then the instruction will vary too over time. It's not going to be the same. Okay, so
죄송합니다. 그 유하님이 아니라 입선 주하선입니다. 주하연입니다. 입선 주하연님 질문입니다. 죄송합니다.
This question is from Ibson Ju Hayeon.
okay. Okay. What was the question again?
So to strangle my small, if I strangle my small ego, then the tendency to blame other people, is it disappear? And then
No, your tendency to blame others because you are under control, your manic goals. That's different. That's another issue. Okay? It's not as simple as it sounds. Okay? But don't worry, eventually we get there. You see, that's what I mean. Each one of you are different approach, and then your obstructions are different. Her obstruction, she has quite a heavy obstructions, especially from manic ghosts and depression ghosts. So it's different. All right. Photo, did you have the photos? Look at this. Look at all, these are the baby relics from the Buddha's tooth. Okay, these are only two containers to the left here of the photos. Only two containers. Ignore the other one to the right. That's the tooth relics, and that's where those babies come from. Okay, and when we got the tooth relics, these babies started multiplying, appearing like crazy. They filled up everything, and we put them in this big container. This container is about 6 inches across diameter. Yay tall. Yay big. Okay? And the reason why I'm still doing this, because each one of these are the people I owe to. All these are the beings I owe to, who are now here to collect. Okay? And why different colors? They're collecting differently. Okay? And you see the majority of them have colors, and some of them have no colors. They're clear. Okay, look at this. This is the side. Actually, the funny thing is that there's so many of them, so originally we put them all, just fill up these containers, okay? So they're all mixed up, okay? And one day, okay, we checked it again and rearranged by colors like this, by themselves. You see, these are the strange occurrences, okay? And so these yellow ones are the ones who are collecting from me, the orange ones are collecting from me, the blue ones, green ones. So for example, the blue ones are the fourth stage arhats. The green ones, third stage arhats. You see why I don't think much of third stage arhats? Yeah, they're not the majority. Who cares? You can only serve so many, you know. What about the clear ones? The clear ones are big size and small size. Okay? The clear ones are not even Buddhists. You got the drift? I still owe them. Isn't it funny? And then they change colors. They change colors constantly. Meaning that they go from Pure Land to Chan and then to Tantras and so forth. They change Dharma doors like crazy. That's why they change colors. All my disciples, they notice that their relics change colors constantly, more often than most people realize. See, this is something the old monk doesn't know. He only brings the relics, he doesn't know why they're there. They're here to remind me, pay up, buddy. See, and this is very typical of Buddhism. You see, all sorts of people, different level of interest, different stages in their path towards this thing called enlightenment, this thing called true happiness, and they're hooked already. That's why they show up. Okay? Now you know. It's about, unfortunately, over 1 million of them. I'm looking at you and say, oh my God. Where is the rest of them? It's a scary thought. I'm nearly dead already. Just with you. Go ahead, JC.
네, 다음 질문은 김하준 씨 질문입니다. 스승님 질문하게 해주셔서 감사합니다. 최근 명상할 때마다 가슴에 뭔가 자꾸 얹히는 느낌이 듭니다. 제 느낌에는 그것이 부정적인 영향을 끼치는 것 같습니다. 동생이 민감한 편인데 제가 명상을 할 때마다 기운이 안 좋다고 합니다. 어떻게 하면 좋을까요?
This question is from Kim Hwa-jun. Recently, when I do meditation, I feel something stuffed in my heart, and then I think it affects badly. So my younger brother is very sensitive, and he felt the energy is bad.
Is there a question? Or is there a complaint?
아닙니다. 질문입니다. 그래서 어떻게 하면 좋을까요? 라고 물어봤습니다.
So what should I do?
What should you do? Continue. Next. Don't think so much. Just because you're aware, you're aware doesn't mean anything. You're aware, whatever you're aware of, ignore it. Whatever your thought arises when you meditate, ignore it. Whatever reasoning you come up with, ignore it. That's all. Because it's just your ego. It's your ego who is able to see. It's the ego's reasoning who's justifying why yours is better than ours. So eventually, this process will help you recognize your ego, how it functions. Okay? As you make progress, you increase your samadhi power. Also very scientific folks. When we talk about training, okay, very much like education. What grade are you? What year are you? What is your specialty? Okay, all those. There is a hierarchy. There is a level of accomplishment. As you improve, your ego shrinks. So we're squeezing it slowly, like the hand squeezing slowly. Okay? That's all. And the reason it works is because the ego doesn't realize that it's being squeezed right now. We have to be smarter than your ego. Otherwise, it would not work. Because you're way too smart. And what's typical of smart people is that, hey, I know better. That's your ego speaking. As long as you follow that thought, I know better, you're trapped. It's in control. You cannot improve. Yes, 7.
Thank you, Master. Is it related to when you usually mention how to turn on and off when you get tired or painful? Like turn on, off, and it go away immediately?
Along that line, yes. I think in your case, for example, it's kind of funny. If you care to hear it or not, it's kind of private as well. You want them to know or not. If you ask a question, you have a choice. Should I give you the answer publicly or privately?
I'm perfectly okay.
In your case, you cross your legs. And how long can you sit? An hour plus? Yes?
About an hour plus.
And it's still a struggle, yes?
Yes,
It hurts.
a lot.
A lot? Oh, no. How terrible. And when it hurts a lot, you can't really work, right? I mean, the mind is muddled.
Right, I can't even focus on listening to your
No,
Dharma.
forget it. You basically a beat. Yes? Okay. What else is new? Anyone, did it ever happen to any of you? Never, right? Never. Never happens to us. Only you. It's your personal problems. Would you like to know why you hurt? He said, yeah. Can you give me a shortcut?
Should I say yes or no?
Be yourself. What do you want? He can make someone else very happy.
Which one would get me to learn more?
Hey, you have to make a choice.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Let me tell you why it hurts. Okay? It's very scientific. You may get lost a little bit in my scientific data. You sit there and you cross your legs, okay? And you find the reason it hurts is because a thought arises. It says, is it going to hurt? And that's when the hurt comes. Look back. Look back, all of you. So what happens to the people who break through the pain barriers? Okay? They manage to break through the pain barriers. What happens to them? Is that Master says, I broke through the pain barriers, therefore I can sit for 1 hour. So during the first hour, what happens? The thought doesn't arise. That's all. So all you're doing is that you're conditioning your ego to shut up for the first hour. And you break through the second pain barrier, okay? It shuts up for the duration, and so on, and so on, and so on. Now you know why it hurts. So can you simply say, oh, now that I know, I don't have to do it anymore? You don't have to do it if you cross your legs and it doesn't hurt. If it hurts, you better do it. Because even though I told you, see, I told you this secret. I don't mind revealing a secret to you. And you said, many of you, especially smart Alex, is, now I know, I don't need to do this anymore. Hey, I understand the principles. No, you may understand what's happening, but the thought that is it going to hurt is so fast that you won't even detect it yourself because your mind is too slow. So that's the only way for you to find out is to do it. That's a proof. Isn't that fascinating? This is the problem with the people who only read books and want to know, like Alex, and want to tell me what happens if after I sit for 2 hours, what happens to me? So I tell you, yeah. But that's only knowledge. When those thoughts arise, you can't even detect them yet. Yes. 4.
A Di Đà Phật thưa thầy, con ngồi được 2 tiếng rồi mà không biết sao có nhiều khi mới có 1 tiếng mà con đau quá. Thầy có thể giải thích giùm con được không? Có nghĩa là thầy nói là nhiều khi cái tư tưởng nó đau nó tới, nhưng mà con đã ngồi được 2 tiếng rồi mà nhiều khi tự nhiên cái 1 tiếng là con đau rồi. Okay. Poor baby.
Why is it so difficult?
Emitofuo Master, in my situation, I was able to sit for 2 hours already, but sometimes for the first hour it's already painful. Sometimes it's very painful in that way. Can you please explain what happened?
Well, I didn't tell you everything. It's sort of like a paying session versus a free session on the internet, you know? The simple question is, there are sunny days and rainy days. When you go 2 hours, it's a sunny day. When it goes only half an hour, it's a rainy day. 5 minutes is very stormy day. It's nothing new to us. Okay? It's so much more we're not telling you. So if you subscribe to our 50% off during Christmas only plan, you can ask. You can even, if the super premium plan, you will on call 24 hours a day for you. Okay? Way Mountain.
Master, it's the first time I've heard of the small ego and the big ego in the Dharma. So is the small ego the self, and then the big ego is enlightenment, and then that's the beginning of enlightenment?
Yes, sir. The small ego is you. How small you are. And then that all-knowing Malcolm Tyler, the racer, trying to save humanity from misery, and bring happiness to people's lives. That's a small ego. The big ego is your Buddha nature. Okay? The big ego is your enlightened ego. Yeah, enlightened people, they have their own egos too, but they happen to be enlightened. Okay. All right, anyone else? Okay? See, that's why, we can answer question and question and question. Don't think that we don't know how to answer your question. We don't know what's going on. We know, but it's telling you, giving you one answer. Next person asks, and what about me? I've been, 1 hour. I've been past 1 hour already. I broke through the first pain barrier already. Bad. Yeah. And yeah, we give you the answer, and I'm waiting for the third question. See? See what I mean? Yes, sir. 7.
Thank you, Master. You said that some days is a rainy day, some days is a sunny day. If you have a rainy day, how do you make it become a sunny day?
Okay, fair question. What do you do when it rains? I don't know about you. I stay indoors. I will not get wet. Okay? That's all. In principle, when it rains, doesn't matter what you do, you have to wait until it stops raining. That's all you have to do. Wait. And that's why Chan training, if you very quickly will transform you, make you become more patient so fast. Because, for example, the young lady in the back here, when she first came to us like a few months ago, okay, and she said, "What about this? That master says so and so. You say so and so. What is, who's right?" And he kept on asking and asking and asking, and we said, "Cross your legs." Okay, so after crossing her legs, these questions are there still in the heads. They don't go away. But guess what? The only difference, he says, I'm not going to ask. And that's patience. And how does it, what's the advantage? Look at her. Look at this lady's photos. The photos are meant to show you a person in months with very little guidance except sitting in full lotus and enduring it, okay? She became more patient. Whereas this gentleman here says, I can figure it out, okay? You can figure it out, but you will not become more patient, even if you figure it out. And this is what it's about. To become more patient means that your ego has to wait. That's all it means. I wait. Because it's better for me to wait. It's more advantageous. Okay? The mind is sharper, it's faster, but she's more patient, he says. I like myself more. This way. Yes? No? Okay, forget it. Okay? Your family appreciates it. They don't say it. They say, oh. All right, anyone else? There's no substitute for enduring it. You have to endure. Endure. Okay? That's how you develop wisdom, by enduring, by doing something that your small ego does not like. All right, we have a few more minutes, 15 more minutes before we have to go to the appointment. 35. Good knowing advisors' merit and virtue must be seen within one's own nature, not sought through giving and making offerings.
"善知识功德须自性内见，不是布施供养之所求也。"
Okay. 36. Commentary. So the 6th Patriarch says, you want to talk about merit and virtue? The merit and virtue must be discussed from the perspective of your Buddha nature. It's not based on external things. Because when you do merit and when you create merit and virtue, okay, you creating blessings that are rendering your ego less relevant to you. So that's what he means by discuss from within the Buddha nature. Yes, he's right, but I'm changing it for you so that I will help you relate in a way that makes sense to you. Okay? He's talking to pretty high level, but it also means at pretty low level as well. Okay? These people, his disciples, there used to be something like up to 3,000 students, cultivators living full-time with him in his temple back then. Those people are something else. Okay, that's why he talks to them this way. But here, this merit and virtue that are important for us, they're relevant to you. Okay, in the sense that the more merit and virtue you create, okay, maybe not so as purely as the way the Master Patriarch, the 6th Patriarch says. You do it from the start, your own nature, okay, not through external things, okay. That's refers to them, Magistrate Wei and his disciples. I'm telling you, for us, it's both, okay, because there's a mixture here, a mixture of advanced people and not as advanced people. That's why the same instruction applies. Okay, and if whether it depends, it doesn't matter which level you are. You need to create merit and virtue. If you can from your own nature, great. If you can't, you can do it through giving and making offerings. Okay, it turns out it's still from your nature. But he's only making a distinction, okay, to help Magistrate Wei understand the essence of the Buddhist teachings and the instructions. Okay, typically they taught their disciples, the Chinese disciples, as to create merit is to help others, create virtues is to, redefine it as taking losses. You choose to take losses, that's being virtuous. You choose to suffer when you don't have to. That's virtuous. Because it will help shrink this methodology here that we ask you to undergo is actually forcing your ego to take a loss. That's why it's a virtuous thing. Is that clear? And eventually you do it often enough, you realize, every time I suffer more and I become more patient naturally, then, it's a virtuous thing because I choose to keep on doing that. And when I become more patient, my family benefits from it. My children benefit from it. My, friends, relatives benefit from it. My colleagues benefit from it. You see? So that's why it's a virtuous thing because you choose to take losses. Okay, that's what the Chinese teach their disciples. You do something to help others that's meritorious. You choose to take losses, meaning, for example, you give someone $5, okay, and the instruction is you give $5, you forget about it. To you, intellectually, it doesn't make sense. How can I forget about it? I just gave him $5. No. If you think I just give this guy $5 for him to go feed himself, get some burgers and fries at the fast food joint so that he won't go hungry and at least he gets some warmth for a while, okay, instead of freezing to death out there, it must be a virtuous thing. No. Okay, the virtuous thing is that you take losses. If you do that and you say, I'm going to gain some benefits, then it's not virtuous at all. Okay? So when we teach you, give something and forget about it, it's a virtuous thing because guess what? You choose to lose $5 for no reason whatsoever. You don't hang around to look at him and say, wow, look at that. He's getting some bird, look at how happy he looks now and so forth. You just, $5 is gone. You choose to lose $5. You have nothing to show. That's virtuous. Does it make sense? Okay. According to that definition, the 6th Patriarch instruction here seems contradicted. Yes? He says, hey, external giving, you're giving and making offerings, give $5 and making offering $5. It's not really merit and virtue. I'm teaching you, it's also merit and virtue because what's the difference? What's the difference between you going out there and give $5 as this homeless person, and so that he and so, right? Versus you, my beloved disciple, going out there and say, hey, I'm supposed to take a loss. I'm going to give $5 here, okay, because I have a chance to help this person here, I think, and so forth. And then I give and I forget about it. What's the difference? Difference is instructions. You're following instructions. That's the difference. Because does it make sense to you at all? I know it doesn't make sense to you. You say, what's the point? I give $5 and forget about it? Doesn't make sense to me. Right? But you still do it. And that's how the instructions are designed to nurture that virtuous side of you. Someone who is not given the instruction, who does it instinctively, is not honing as much virtue as you are because they don't have the instructions. You understand the difference? Yes? So if you do that, through external giving, it's still merit and virtue. Because my instructions, our instructions for you, when you carry out those acts, are being done within your nature, not through your intellect. QED. There's no need to understand. Just do it. And keep on doing it and doing it and doing it. And then someday, you say, look how far I've gone. That's all. Way mountain.
Master, so how do you not get upset or take a loss when you are driving on a small road with lots of residents and people park a car, big truck right on the road and then sitting there with the curtain off and enjoying themselves and leaving me, if I'm driving and I could get into a car hitting me from the other end, Daniel said not to call the police. He said, let them enjoy themselves. And I said, call the police because they're blocking traffic and causing a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I take a loss and not get upset with that situation?
Did I give you instruction on how to do in such situations? Or is this your own instructions?
I don't have any instruction yet, Master.
So you basically say, this is what you would do. Call the police.
I was upset. I would
Yes,
like
yes,
to
yes. I understand you're upset. But my question is this is what you would do. Follow your own instructions. Thank you. It's a great question.
So what should do, Master? How do I not get upset and take a loss?
I would not dare touch your ego.
But
So I will not give you any instructions. Do whatever you feel is appropriate.
But I'm beaten up by my ego, Master. I really need help to how to.
How old
get
are
out
you?
of this. Huh?
How old are you?
Me? 40, 50, 60?
When I ask you a question, you lie to me. You expect me to continue the conversation in a sensible way? Again, I know I'm getting egotistical here.
But Daniel said to let them have fun. So is he creating murder with that situation?
Answer the question.
40?
You see what I'm doing? I'm strangling her ego. I'm demonstrating to you how to strangle her ego and make her feel so uncomfortable. Yes, the old monk to the rescue. One.
A Di Đà Phật. Cô là một người Phật tử. Thì cái căn bản nhất của đạo Phật là gì? Là luật nhân quả. Tại sao không đụng ai mà đụng cô rồi người ta enjoy cái đụng đó? Thì mình phải biết là cái nhân quả mình phải trả, cho nên lúc cô hiểu như vậy thì tự nhiên cô rất là kiên nhẫn. Cô trả cái chuyện đó vui vẻ. Trong khi ông Đây Nhò là một người ngoại đạo mà dạy cô như vậy, cô thấy không xấu hổ sao?
Emitofuo, you are a Buddhist disciple. So fundamentally,
From the other side.
So the most fundamental of Buddhism is what? Is the cause and effect. Why don't you use that knowledge and apply that to your daily life? You understand about the cause and effect, so then you should understand that why don't they hit you instead of hitting other people? So if you understand about the laws of cause and effect, you should be happy. However, on the other side, Daniel is not Buddhist. And don't you feel ashamed of that because he understands what it is?
He's a better Buddhist as a Catholic than you as a Buddhist. But it's not that. It's not something that can be helped for you. When you were obstructed on your way, when you're in your car that while driving, you got upset. You got upset, and you acted. You feel justified in calling the police. And you came up with different reasons to justify it. Okay? What do we do in the Chan? Nothing. We don't call the police. We don't blame a particular, that guy sitting there and having fun, doing his things, being a nuisance. We don't blame them because blaming them is not Chan. That's all. And therefore, if it really bothers you, you have two choices. You call the police and become a loser, meaning you quit. That's not our way. Our way is to endure. To endure it. Something is difficult to endure, we still endure it. Okay? And the other option is to endure. How do you endure? Many ways to endure. You sit there patiently, tapping on your gas pedal, so that's one way to endure. Okay? Or you can simply turn around. Get into someone's driveway and do a U-E and get away and go use another street. That's not the way to endure. Endure the obstruction. Okay? Another way, if they have Daniel, go out there and talk to them. Reason with them. Because most likely, he speaks the same language. And they can, they can relate to each other better than you. And I say, no, it's not a Catholic way to block someone's way, And so forth. There's so many ways to do. You don't have to hurt anyone. And it's a virtuous thing to do, to take a loss. You choose to take a loss instead of winning in that confrontation. There's no virtue in winning. Did you realize that? It's a lot more virtuous to choose to lose so that others can win. Okay, go. Go.
Master, thank you for the instruction. That's exactly what I needed. Also, thank you, Venerable Center, for the awakening and instruction. And also, I guess I was lucky because I asked Daniel if we were supposed to call the police, and he said no, he would rather to let them have a good time. So I guess I was helped in a way.
Marry him. He's a good Catholic. He's a good influence on you.
He said the police has more important things to do than dealing with that little tiny business.
Let's go back to the marriage thing. You keep on evading the questions. When it's not comfortable, you run away. So non-Buddhist. Yes, the old monk has some things to add to you, to your pleasure.
Có một số người thường thường họ nghĩ mấy cái chuyện mà nhường nhịn hay là tha thứ là trong kinh sách nói thời xưa. Chùa này con cũng nghe như vậy. Nói ba cái chuyện đó là đụng xe là nhường nhịn hay là xin lỗi rồi, cái đó là hồi xưa trong sách thôi. Nhưng mà cách đây khoảng 1 tháng ở trên mạng có cái tin rất là hay. Là một phụ nữ mà nữ minh tinh rất là đẹp. Thì đi trong đám đông thì bị ai dỗ mông cổ. thầy Khả dịch đi.
Emitofuo, a lot of people constantly thought that yielding to others and forgiving, this kind of thing is about yielding is based on the book and it's very old. So with a month recently, there was one actress.
Cái chuyện này là con nghe lâu rồi, nhưng mà cái chuyện mà người ta nói trong sách đó, nhưng mà bây giờ cái chuyện này xảy ra thì con rất là vui là hiện đời vẫn cũng có những cái chuyện như vậy chứ không phải là trong sách.
So this kind of story is happened not just only in the book itself, but it's happened in the real life, and I'm very happy that this story is not coming from the book itself.
Thì mọi người nghe cái tiếng tát thì quay lại nhìn thấy ông thầy bị tát, thì ổng lập tức chắp tay lên, ổng xin lỗi cái cô đó.
So someone heard a slapping sound, and a lot of people immediately turn around and look at the monk, and that monk immediately, when they hear the slapping on the face, he just apologized, put the palm together and apologized.
Thì cái cô đó cũng giận dữ, chửi là dữ lắm, nhưng mà mấy phút sau thì nó có cái người khác, người ta thấy, người ta có quay được người ta chụp được cái hình đó, thì không phải là ông thầy đó, nhưng mà cái người thật sự đó họ xin lỗi. Thì lên trên mạng phát lên thì người ta rất là chê bai cái cô minh tinh đó, và là người ta rất là kính trọng cái ông thầy này. Câu chuyện này chỉ có như vậy thôi.
So that actress get very mad, and after a couple of minutes, somebody else actually taking picture and filming what actually happened. And the reality is they posted up on the internet, and everybody saw the truth. And a lot of people scolded the actress and really appreciate and respect the monk. And that is the end of the story.
Okay, very good. I want to skip my comment on that, but let me finish 37, 38. May I? This completes this merit and virtue thing. Otherwise, you have to come back to it next week, and I have to explain to you out of context. May I? Just a few minutes? That is the difference between blessings and merit and virtue. Emperor Wu did not know the true principle. Our patriarch was not in error.
是以福德与功德别。五帝不是真理，非我祖师有过。
Okay, so he's saying on 38 here is that if your mind is only on doing things externally, giving the money to the homeless person to do things because that's it feels good, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're creating blessings. But if you do it as per the instructions from your good no advisor, you actually are creating merit and virtue. I just finished explaining to you. Okay? It makes it important to make that distinction. And at first, the reason you're able to listen to the instructions of good no advisors about how to create merit and virtue is because you started by creating blessings. You have to build up to it. You don't just don't go cold turkey. My entire life was about making money and becoming, fame and profit. You hoard, you grab what you still can, you lie, you can get away with it, all those things. Okay? And that's why in that kind of mindset, there's nothing good that's happening. Until one day I decided, maybe time for a change. Maybe it has to do some charity work for a change. So I did some charity work for the first time in my life. And I liked it. And the more I like it, the more I got more involved. I did more for the charity organization in a big way. And that's how I got to meet Master YongHua's Dharma. I was destined, I chose to go to a Vietnamese master, but my blessings stopped me and said, you can't go there. You have to go to a Chinese one. So that's my point. My point here is that you cannot neglect this. Master Huineng teaching is correct, but you have it's step by step. You need to start first by creating blessings. And then the better blessings are called merit and virtue that are designed to help you become enlightened, are designed to help you do big things. They really help. That's a case in point. You know, like Mr. Buffett, he's creating blessings. He's not creating merit and virtue. He's not following anyone's instructions. To give money to charity is just creating blessings. That's the distinction I want to make for you today. And that's why Emperor Wu, who said, I want to help these poor, bold people, poor people and stupid people, and because I want to be known as a philanthropic, caring emperor, okay? He's creating blessings. He didn't know that principle. And that's what the Master Bodhidharma is trying to teach him. Okay, that's all. And that's the end of merit and virtue versus blessings. Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas. So as a plan, we are do we meditate now or do we head over there? And this is a time we go and appreciate the superior Catholic Dharma for celebration. They do.